Welcome to the Young Person Ready platform, where you'll find out everything you need to know about Young Person Ready, the purpose behind it, the current impact, the wider vision, and why it's needed right now. I welcome Alex, who's the founder of Inspires to Ignite, and we're going to have a curious conversation as always to cover these topics and also give you a bit of more context and clarity about how this platform can create such a huge impact for your organisation, but also for young people as well. The first question is why PR, and what is the purpose of it?
Well, I think if you think about the journey we've been on with Inspire to Ignite and the experiences that we've had in engaging with both thousands of young people and some of the businesses and educational institutes and public service, for me it was just an obvious thing that there's a gap in the market for some form of gateway between young people who want it and they want that opportunity and organisations that are open to that sort of talent. And I think those businesses fall into two camps. There's the kind of micro, maybe smaller businesses that are they don't have the time to have teams out in schools, in communities doing that. They want the talent, but they can't quite explore it in a traditional way. And then they're probably a bit fed up when they put things out onto other online recruitment platforms, not mentioning names, and they get the volume of nothingness, and they just become completely discontent. And then you've got the bigger partnerships, which I'm sure we'll talk about, where they do have that scale and that opportunity, but they also welcome some form of mechanism that means you've got an organisation like Inspire to Ignite that understands those young people, understands both sides of the conversation, that connects it. So I think it's a great initiative, and it's already doing well, right?
The question I asked myself as well, why now? And I think from seeing the journey we've been on at Inspire to Ignite the last 2.5 years, when we first started, the NEET rates have nearly increased by 200,000. To nearly 1 million young people now that are economically inactive in the UK, 16 to 24. So if you're walking down the high street and you walk past 8 young people, one of those young people is going to be economically inactive. And to widen that perspective further, for those that enjoy their sport and music, if you go to Wembley, imagine you could fill Wembley 9 times over, and that's the amount of young people that are economically inactive. Platforms like this can be, I see it as the bridge between young people and organisations, forward-thinking organisations, and it's not just young people going into employment. This is a wraparound kind of platform and mechanism to provide work experience, to start those pathways, provide self-development opportunities and volunteering opportunities for that civic leadership aspect, and then ideally that economic outcome is just a byproduct of what we're building as well. So I think we should come on to a couple of positive case studies so far since we've launched the platform. We'll start with work experience. 64% of young people don't receive work experience in the UK, and we've done some research, and for employer engagements meaningful employer engagements can reduce a young person's risk of becoming NEET by 85%. If a young person engages with just 4 things on our platform, that can significantly reduce their rate.
What's happening there? What happens for a young person's perspective that I've got no exposure, I've got no experience to 4, apart from the obvious of just awareness of what's in the market? What happens in that young person's confidence that changes?
I think it's belief and also belonging. I know there's a couple of words that have kept coming up in conversation I've been having recently, is that when they have that experience and they can go in a new environment that they may have not been able to access before, when you're talking about social economic divide, young people on free school meal households are 45% more likely to be economically inactive. So if they can step into a place such as this, or an organisation, and it can open their eyes to what's out there in the world, but also can give them the belief and confidence within inside themselves to go, actually, I do belong here, and that's really powerful. And don't get me wrong, yeah, they have to go through that imposter phase, but that's where the wraparound support of the Inspire to Ignite community can support that as well. So I'd probably say that, and not only does that increase their aspirations and about what they want to achieve, but actually it allows them to think broader and that wider vision of actually, I can do this, and this is what I want for my life, and this is the impact I want to create in the world. So I'd probably say that, if I'm honest. And just looking at some examples of what that work experience aspect has looked like, we've uploaded some work experience opportunities at one of our corporate partners, Moss UK. So from their perspective, they're really interested in activating young people that are currently economically inactive, and they've got some amazing traineeships happening at their organisation. And a prime example of that is a young person that's come through the community here, come through the doors. We've shown them the opportunity at Moss for one of the open days. They've gone into the organisation, had a positive experience with like a private tour of the organisation, and then they've now gone into an internship that will hopefully then lead into a traineeship where they're going to become a frame fitter and graphic installer, which is one of their high needs for skills. And their first 6 weeks, they've been to Glastonbury, F1, Goodwood Festival, and Wembley Stadium. So think about, from their perspective, 2 months ago, they were in a position where they didn't know what they were going to do. They lacked self-belief and confidence, and then now they've gone into all these different experiences, and they're texting me every day just going, I can't believe I'm here, look at this picture. And it's just great to be able to connect a young person to that, because they would have not been able to have awareness of those opportunities around them if they hadn't have had this platform.
From a business's perspective and from an employer's perspective, you want loyalty, you want that person to show up feeling grateful. And I think if they've come through what may feel a little bit like chance to them, obviously I know there's loads of stuff that goes in and around the background, around co-designing those opportunities, but from a young person's perspective, they've come in, they've seen an opportunity, they've signed up, and it's almost felt seamless to them. But I know behind the scenes how proud the employer will be about that opportunity. So they're going to double down on supporting that person. They're going to get double the amount of loyalty and hard work from the individuals that are coming in. I'm looking forward to seeing some of these case studies expand into kind of success stories coming from that young, bringing the employer and a young person back into the mix at some of our wider events, because it's not just the digital. Obviously we've got this platform, which is brilliant, and as more businesses sign up and the engagement increases, that's great. But also it's everything else that fits around Inspire to Ignite's ecosystem, from the conference we host and the events that we do all around the area, bringing those case studies and elevating the brand. The businesses want multiple things, right? Yes, they want the talent, but hey, if there's a commercial benefit that we can celebrate those organisations, and we're very lucky, we get a lot of press, we get a lot of people, eyeballs on Inspire to Ignite, so there's probably a commercial benefit there as well for the business, which I think should be celebrated.
We covered work experience in there. We can also look at it from a skills perspective as well, so it's not just work experience that we're working with. We also work with partners such as Construction Pathways, who done a great 12-week bricklaying opportunity for young people to basically have no idea how to lay bricks, to then being able to lay kind of 100, 150 bricks a day, then go, what does that pathway into employment look like? And we had the opportunity of referring nearly probably about 30-40% of that cohort into their programme, and off the back of that, through the platform, some of those young people are now going into economic activity, which is awesome to see as well. And from what was quite interesting as well is that the young people that came through the platform in that regard were completely the right demographic they were looking for, that kind of met the needs of what their training program looked like as well. So it's awesome to be able to come at from that perspective for quite specialised skill sets, looking into the self-development aspect of it as well. So if a young person from our community is looking at, they can't actually get the opportunity to implement their skills in a workplace or an organisation to begin with, but they've learned the skills, or they've got foundational skills. We've actually been able to partner with incredible organisations like Brimstone Energy, who are forward thinking and are actually, we've had so many applications for their roles that they've said, do you know what, this person that has got a master's, that's awesome, but we're really passionate about giving this young person who's in like just kind of turned 17, 18, the opportunity to implement this experience and build those foundational confidence and aspirations. So there's lots of different partners we can work with at different levels of skill set and experience. Brimstone have been awesome with that as well, so I'm really looking forward to that. And then just generally going into the world of employment, looking at some of our other opportunities. We've been able to place, we've partnered with Eden Ravenscroft. When you think of Eden Ravenscroft, you're looking at the finest kind of tailoring in the UK and beyond. And they've got multiple different sites, they do loads of different events, and for young people, flexibility is really important, and work-life balance is important as well. And they're able to do like kind of short-term employment opportunities where young people can earn money, build, like maybe go to a new location and meet new people, which is also that exploration, curiosity phase. They've got loads of opportunities all over the UK, and when we first onboarded them, from our perspective as Wild to Ignite, we've got a vision for Young Person Ready, not just to be regional, where we're based, but actually to be a national platform. And it was a great opportunity for us to test this with Eden Ravenscroft, and actually we're now getting applications in Wales, and like this coming through to the team. We're getting so excited about this because actually we've got a huge network of people nationally, but how are young people accessing this platform? And that's what we're, the next phase for us is really understanding where are they coming from, and scaling that
Nice.
impact wider as well.
Nice. And I think the future looks like technology is going to be a huge part of this conversation. And from my perspective as the chair of the board, you've tasked me with looking into the future and making sure that we've got scale within that, because the demand is there. I don't think we need to talk about the problem anymore. I think it's really clear. We need intervention. We need to scale. Our growth is showing that we can, and we are. Technology is the next stage in our growth, and we're developing this app. We've got some partners coming on board over the next few months with a view to get something out to market in the next 12 months. And within this app, that will encompass, yes, Young Person Ready, and that's clear. That's how we can seamlessly build that into an app in a way that feels organic to the user. So it's young person focused in the way it's designed. But then also we can then start to layer in all the other services. So mentoring, coaching, gamified learning, and what that may look like is if someone's exploring some of those temporary opportunities that you're talking about. We've got a lot of partners that have seasonal work. If you're in manufacturing or horticulture, you have these kind of demand seasons. So traditionally that's been recruitment companies, temp work agencies, and not to dig them, they're serving a need, but is it young person centered? Is it built around the employee or the worker, or is that built around the employer and the needs of that middle person? I think that's what I'm most excited about with the app, is that we'll have different kind of chapters of someone's life covered through this, whether they are purely in that self-development phase, they need the coaching, they need the mentoring, they need access to the experiences, they want to be connected peer-to-peer with other learners, right through to, I want to earn some money right now because I'm building my side hustle and I'm developing my skills, learning from some of the entrepreneurs on the network, and they can access this app, apply for, put their availability in. This is I'm up for doing 12 hours a week right now whilst I'm at university or whatever else, and that's all encompassed in the app. That's exciting. I don't think there's anything else like that in the market right now. So from your perspective as a CEO, and as you scale this business and we grow over the next year or so, how excited are you about the fact that we'll have technology to support you, not just the incredible willing humans that we have within the Inspire to Ignite team and partnerships?
Yeah, I think technology with how it's scaling and also the implementation of AI in ethical and ways for social good is really exciting. And I think when Inspire Tonight has been an organisation that's been we've been in the heart of the community, and we've put in the hours, we've put in the groundwork for the actual in-person delivery, but obviously there's so much that you can do that for scale. And also for our team's perspective, how can we be as efficient and effective as possible with how we can provide someone with impact, but then also how they can get that extra wraparound, like say, with coaching, mentoring, and also that peer-to-peer learning and the leadership that programs that surround that as well. So with the implementation of the app, it's going to be an absolute game changer, not just for like national scale, but for also working with other partners that we've developed like regionally, locally and nationally that can actually refer young people to the app as well. So I personally believe that this app will be accessed by millions of young people across the UK, but also for those organisations that are watching this that have got that vision to go internationally, why can't this be an international product? And I've certainly got a lot of confidence around the partners that are plugging into this with their specialised knowledge, understanding the needs of young people on a daily basis, and actually going on that journey where we're creating this with them and just not for them. I'm really, really excited about the future, and I truly believe that this app will be the go-to tool for a young person to access work experience, look at self-development opportunities that align with interests, connect to expertise and professionals that can extract the learning and also provide wisdom and specialised knowledge, and then also that community wraparound. So I'm really excited.
I think moving forward, looking at kind of next 12 months, you've got the privilege and sometimes the challenge that comes with that scale that we've got over the next 12 months and where things are going. What I get excited about Inspire to Ignite the most is, it's very easy. It would be very easy to fall into the trap of poor young people. All of these needs. Let's help them and provide services to them that may sometimes actually just keep them in that loop. Actually, when I see some of the young people come through the platform, I'm not on the ground like you and you see it every single day with the team, but when I see some of the journeys that these young people go on, we've got some amazing case studies of young people that we've worked with over long periods of time, and you see them today versus where they were, and it's like, wow, the difference in just moving them from that long-term disengagement into economic activity. It's funny that when you've got purpose, they seem to accelerate. This isn't just about helping people that need help. This is about helping businesses innovate and drive growth. I see some of the young talent that you've got on our platform, and I wish I had more businesses to give them employment opportunities. So I'm like, if you're in my business, you're going to drive growth like you wouldn't believe. So next 12 months, what does it look like for Inspire to Ignite in the impact that we're making? Have we got any key targets that we can share with those people that are going to be joining our community through Young Person Ready?
We're aiming for another 100 people on the platform actually by end of Q3 this year in 2025. And looking into next year, I want to get 1,000 people on the platform. I want it to be a platform where a young person can move through different opportunities as well and have that visibility of lots of different sectors, and that's where having that opportunity to do so and having a clear, simple user interface will allow them to not get overwhelmed. Looking at the app as well and how that scales, from my perspective, I'll be setting some key targets around the amount of users using that. So we're going on that journey, and we'll do a pilot to ensure that actually we've got the right technology processes to scale, and then we'll go on that journey where they will be working with other partners in different regions that are working with thousands of young people such as ourselves, where we can then actually start that referral process as well. So that's, from my perspective, that's where we're at. Thinking back to what you said earlier about the mindset in which we approach our work with young people, I genuinely, whenever I work with someone, I have unconditional regard, no matter what their experience is. So I believe in them no matter what. So whether they've had a real traumatic experience in the past, whether something's happened to them in a previous employment opportunity, or they've had no work experience before, I'll treat everyone exactly the same. And when you treat someone with that kind of mindset, they will naturally believe in themselves, they'll naturally find out what they're interested in, because they've got that psychological safety at the end of the day. And that's what Inspire to Ignite is about. I've been reflecting a lot recently around what is our purpose and what is something that could stay no matter what changes around the world, whether there is a need crisis, whether there isn't. And actually, I truly believe the purpose of Inspire to Ignite is to provide opportunities to young people, no matter what their previous experiences are, with the opportunities, the networks and the pathways to succeed. Because once you do that, you can operate in any economic or social format that's happening in the world, and you've always got that aligned purpose throughout.
To close up upon this around the business's perspective again, from my perspective as a chair, I also employ a lot of people in my own businesses as well, so I suppose I can speak from that side. It's super accessible. We're looking at less than £400 a year to join the portal. It's not a massive commitment if you think how much people spend on recruitment. I mean, it's ridiculous. So it's super accessible. Joining the community, I've seen some of the entrepreneurs and the C-suites of these businesses that are coming into the platform, engaging with each other in Inspire to Ignite. I'm seeing there's commercial benefit with people building that social mobility. It's not just social mobility of young people into business. Actually, it's where the businesses start crossing over. So creating that, I think that's really interesting. But then also, just from a CSR perspective, if you genuinely care about corporate social responsibility, knowing that yes, okay, you are resolving a need for yourself, and if that's where you're coming from, that's fine. But also knowing that money that comes into Inspire to Ignite pays for technology, pays for engagements in places that they haven't got time to go into, and they can claim all of that. So I think reporting on our impact in such a way that we do will benefit those businesses as well, which I think is really exciting times.
One thing I'm really interested in, I'm speaking to lots of different partners to make sure that we choose the right one, is that social impact. How can we showcase that, and the vision that once the app's fully developed and we can integrate that into it as well, is that ideally from an employer user interface, they actually be able to go click a button and then they'll get a report on based off, okay, what's the return on investment for the money that they've invested in a young person already, and also the wider platform, but then to not just an economic impact, but what is the social impact of that as well? How many lives have been changed and affected by that, and how can you showcase that for your own reporting as well? So yeah, that's another thing that I'd want to add into the interface as well.
So look, we're really excited about the future of this. If you're a business that wants to get involved, now's the time. And also, if you want to speak to some of the other businesses that are involved, all of our partners are quite happy to have a conversation about how they've used it. And sometimes it takes some time to try things with us. I think about some of the partners that are now making 3-year commitments beyond YPR to do custom projects with us. They started with doing a little experience, and now they're scaling, and they're actually relying on the platform for all of their apprentice intake, for instance. So if you want to have a conversation with someone within the team or any of the partners that are already on the platform, then we can absolutely do that. So any parting words for you, Sam, for businesses that are coming across YPR and considering? Have you got any other parting words for the business community?
From my perspective, it would be that now is more important than ever to think about the longevity of your organisation and ensure that you're looking in areas where others aren't, because talent is everywhere but opportunity isn't, and we can be that bridge between yourselves and young people and make it a transformative experience for everyone and not just a transactional one. So I really encourage you to join our community, because that's what we are, and come on this journey with us.